Welcome back. So at the beginning of this course, we took a 3-minute tour of how a book gets published. Let's slow that bus down now and take the tour again with a little more time to stop, snap some pictures, maybe buy a hot pretzel from that sidewalk vendor. We're going to cover first the conventional established process for publishing. Then we'll talk about some ways that you can hop right off the tour bus and disappear into a side alley, parkour, leap yourself across building tops and find your own way. Make sure to warm up and stretch first. So, as with our whirlwind tour at the beginning of the course, this tour starts with the assumption that you've already written a good and complete manuscript for your novel, or written in outline some sample chapters and other information about your nonfiction book. We'll talk more about nonfiction book proposals in a bit. Our next step then is to convince a publisher to publish your book. Now, hold on there, you might be saying. That's not the only option. Correct. Gold stars all around. You may decide to be your own publisher, and in that case, the sales job is pretty straightforward. You should, however, make sure you've carefully thought through the risks and responsibilities you'll be taking on as your own publisher. Put aside your poet's heart for a while and think this through as a business decision. Make a good case to yourself for why this will be worth your while, or if you can't make that case, consider whether self-publishing might not be the right choice for you. But if you're already absolutely 100% certain that you're going to self-publish your book, you can, if you choose, skip the rest of this lecture and jump ahead to the lecture on editing and proofreading. But if you have even the faintest shadow of a doubt, we encourage you to stick with us through this and the following lectures. Okay, are all the certain self-publishers gone? Good. Many of you still here will decide to pursue a contract with a traditional publisher. There are two paths to a book contract. Well, two main paths, each with its own several options. You can approach publishers directly, or a literary agent can approach publishers on your behalf. Now, in our follow-up course on traditional publishing, we'll go into deep detail about the pros and cons of each path, but a few thoughts here to help you think through the options. First, you'll probably at some point hear the conventional wisdom that you can't get a book contract with a big 5 publisher unless you have an agent. This wisdom is, well, it's conventional, and disruptions to the conventional are becoming the norm today. That said, there is a kernel of truth in this. The sheer volume of pitches received by the big 5 makes it impossible for decision-making acquisitions editors to give much attention to most of these pitches. They rely instead on literary agents to exercise their own professional judgment and present only those pitches best suited to a particular editor. So part of what you get with representation by a literary agent is their own reputation for being able to spot quality books and authors and to match them to the right publishers. Editors trust good agents, and they'll give them much more time and attention than they will your own direct, unsolicited pitch. Now, as you might imagine, agents don't do this as charity work. They are paid with a percentage of your earnings from the book, usually 15 to 20%. They do a lot to earn that percentage, not only in selling your book, but in working hard for its success after you sell it. When your partnership with your agent is successful, you may still net more money than you would have without the agent's expertise, but as with anything, there are no guarantees. Agents can be useful to you even if you plan to focus your pitches on indie or university presses, but in these realms of the publishing world, you can definitely manage without them. Also, the lower profit books typically make at indie or university presses may make it harder for you to find an agent willing to represent you. 15 to 20% of not that much money is not that much money, so it may not be worth the agent's time. Okay, so you may want an agent, you might not. You don't actually have to decide right now. Fortunately, the process of pitching to agents and publishers is very, very similar. Whether to an agent or to a publisher, your first contact comes in the form of a query letter. Now again, we'll go through all the nuts and bolts of this in our follow-up course on traditional publishing. There's a subtle art to writing an effective query letter, but for now, it's enough to know that a query letter is a letter in which you tell the agent or publisher a tiny bit about your book, capture their attention and interest, and offer to send them more to review if they're interested. Query letters are short, a single page, and no, not in 9-point type with quarter-inch margins. It's written with the understanding that agents and publishers are receiving a huge volume of these query letters. and they can only spend a very short time reading each one. So the pressure is on for you. You get one page, one single page. You have to hook their attention so well that they simply demand to know more. Now, we're not going to ask you to write your full query letter in this lecture. We'll save that for the next course. But let's pause here with an assignment to get you started thinking about your query letter. Write out the first sentence of your query letter. And write it in such a way that any agent or publisher who reads that first sentence is going to sit up and pay attention, is going to be motivated to read the rest of the query letter, and then hopefully request a review of your book. So you're writing a hook, an attention grabber, something that will reach out and grab the reader by the shirt collar and pull them on in. How? Well, that depends on your book. But what you shouldn't do is make any baseless claims. If your first sentence is, "My book is going to be bigger than Harry Potter and the Bible combined," then you will instantly lose all credibility. Plus, you haven't told the reader anything about your book. So make the hook something about your book, something really, really, really fascinating, compelling, intriguing, mysterious, fascinating. You get the idea. You're a writer, right? So you have the tools to do it. So go do it. Write your opening line. Then, if you like, and if you don't mind others learning about your book idea, you can share it on the discussion boards. We'll see you when you get back.